Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. It's BJ
and Patrick,
and we're back talking about what's going on in the world of real estate. Of course, we talk about real estate as it relates to what's happening on the island, but I think today we were talking about some of the headlines that we're seeing coming up of different things that are being proposed for the new year. In the world of real estate, it affects obviously the island, but a lot of this is going to be relevant for real estate in Canada, right?
All of Canada, yeah. So we're looking to a few changes happening next year. We already talked about the cooling off period, and now they're starting to call it like a proper name, like a rescission period.
Yeah.
Which we've already talked about. There's going to be a temporary ban on foreign ownership, which I'm sure we'll save for another segment because that's a whole conversation onto itself.
Yeah.
And what goals it wants to address doing that. And the last one that was agreed earlier this year was restrictions around exclusive listings.
So hang on.
Not everybody knows what an exclusive listing is.
Maybe let's start with that.
There.
Yeah. What's an exclusive listing?
An exclusive listing is an agreement between a seller, a homeowner wanting to sell their house, and a realtor. And the realtor would provide pretty much all the same services except for putting it on the multiple listing system. That would be it. So it wouldn't be on Realtor.ca. So this makes the realtor rely on their own marketing efforts, their own network, anything like that, but it has to be outside of Realtor.ca, the public system.
Sure. So to give an example, I had a listing one time where the seller had renters living in the property, multiple renters, and was very sensitive to those renters and their situation in terms of the sale of the property. So he did not want any signage on the property. He did not want it on the MLS. He wanted it to be sold quietly, and that would be a reason to do that.
Right, fair enough. If perhaps the seller doesn't, there's not a tight timeline for a sale, and privacy is more of an issue than selling the property quickly. Obviously, putting it on the MLS system, putting it to maximum exposure to most amount of buyers, would result in most cases the highest money earned or sold for, and in the quickest amount of time. That makes total sense.
Sure.
But if privacy is more of an issue, or respecting, let's say, the tenants, right? I know the rules are a little bit different for commercial properties, and most of the time you don't see a commercial business with a sign out in front of it, right?
Yeah, typically, I was going to say that's something too. Typically for businesses, and I have, I have businesses listed that we don't even disclose the address in the listing information.
Yeah.
Not until you've signed a non-disclosure agreement, because that protects my client's business and the staff and everything else and all of those things. So I get that part of it, I guess. But what
it's like a soft listing.
Yeah.
Oh, you can list it, and if you happen to come across somebody, I don't want people coming through my place. I don't want 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. But if you happen to have somebody that's a serious buyer, that's qualified, and you've spoken to them about this property, well, there's a higher level of interest and qualification for the buyer, instead of somebody just putting it on their list of view homes. So I can see that argument, right?
Sure, I get it. But so here's the interesting thing. I saw the headline from the Financial Post, and it said something about forcing realtors to go on the MLS is a good thing. You know what? I don't think that's what the article was about at all when I read the article. And it doesn't say that you can't have exclusive listings. It just says that if you have an exclusive listing, or now it's an office exclusive listing, I believe, that you can't have any external advertising for it. And if you do, then it has to be also listed on the MLS.
Within a certain amount of time.
Right.
Exactly. So that's really good. I love that we can debunk the headlines that are out there. So even from here we go, Real Estate Magazine Canada, CREA, that's a Canadian Real Estate Association. That's the national realtor membership that we all are members of. That gives us access to Realtor.ca. They own Realtor.ca. All right, so that organized real estate. CREA moves to restrict exclusive listings. So that doesn't say very much, right? But that at least that's probably the most accurate. Toronto Stories. I think this is another realtor article. Not coming soon. CREA to ban most off-market listings starting in 2023. Toronto Star. Why forcing home sellers to publicly list their properties is a bad idea. I didn't read through that one. All you need to know about pocket listings in Canada. So there's different I'll say the nomenclature, the different verbs or different descriptions used for exclusive listing. Could be the public will call it a pocket listing. Do you have any pocket listings, BJ? Right. A lot of that will be referred to it that way. So that's all that means.
Yeah. But I guess my point is, one of my points is in this is, it's not any different than what we do right now with a pocket listing. We don't advertise typically on the property when we have an exclusive listing. It doesn't go on the MLS, and we put it out to a limited stream of contacts and other realtors that we're connected with. I don't see what the new world of what they're talking about isn't any different.
I think when I've done it in the past, which it's been quite a while since like the banning of dual agency, there was almost no advantage to having a pocket listing. I would take a property that would have a development potential, and then I would just go through the list. Seriously, it's not a secret list. You want to find a builder, they all have a phone number in the yellow pages or on the internet, and you can find all of them. Go to Canadian Home Builders Association and find the list of every contractor, every builder. You could search for them by license, and I just call them. Hey, I've got this opportunity. Email it to them. Call this opportunity. Email it to them. That's when we could double end things. Represent both sides, or at least facilitate the transaction without preferential treatment to either party at that time. So unless, I know why they're putting restrictions on it. And again, it's same as the cooling off period or rescission period now that'll come into 2023 is the feedback, the complaints that were coming around coming soon advertising. So this would be initially listed as an exclusive listing, and it's under contract with a realtor, like we explained at the beginning. And then they would advertise, maybe it's a few days, maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a month. And then people would keep inquiring about these coming soon listings that didn't end up ever going to the public market. And somebody would preemptively make offers.
I got it,
So it's sort of addressing the public perception. And I think it evens the playing field, like to make it appear fair to the public, like fair access to a listing. I think that's really what the root of it is. But just the idea of like restricting exclusive listings without any of these articles explaining why they're there. So that's the quick gist of that.
I guess what we all know this, but what we understand is headlines are not meant for information. They're meant to grab your attention so that you read the rest of the article. Or some people just read the headline and they think they know the content of the article from it, which obviously can be misleading. So it's interesting. It's not really any different than what we do now.
It's not. I don't think it's going to change very much going forward in January, right? If the market gets hot again in some years from now, so you have a coming soon sign and you start advertising, and you have 3 days to put it on the regular MLS. So then you just adjust your timetable. That's your window to get your maximum exposure for a listing, hoping that you can orchestrate multiple offers for your client, or the best offer, or the quickest, whatever the case may be, So we're all 25,000 realtors in BC. All we're going to do is adjust.
100%. And you know, I think it's important to remember for viewers and for general public. Our goal as realtors is to serve our clients and give quality service and quality advice, quality of what we do that our clients are going to get the best results when they're selling, when they're buying. And obviously we want to operate within the parameters of the rules and the law and what that indicates. And so I think we will adjust, but I think it's important for everybody else to know that we're, as agents, we want to, we're going to abide by the rules and the laws, but we also want to act in what's in best interest for our clients. And that's what we do. And so I don't know that this is going to really change anything in terms of how we do business, except like you said, where before I might have had a coming soon for a week or 10 days, it's going to be 3 days, if that's how it goes.
That's it. Does it stop somebody from making an offer before it hits the public MLS? That's yet to be seen, right?
Sure. But I think the market is taking care of that itself.
Yeah, and it goes back to the same conversation with the cooling off period. That's a really good idea. We'll see how it works when we have a hot market in 5 or 6 years or 10 years or whenever it might happen again. Right. So we'll see. We'll see the effects of the changes years down the road. Right. And sometimes, I think you said it, it's like, well, we might be really grateful for that change, or we might be wondering, why did we ever do that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Remember, like and subscribe. Tell your friends or share what we're talking about. We're on a regular basis, just talking about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. So, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.
See you.